Let's test this out. Oh, we're gonna get to that. Yes, we will. We will get to that. So that's just a preview of what's gonna be next. Let's do this. There we go. This is what we're supposed to get. And all of a sudden, I think the camera thing changed a little bit. A little brighter. Okay. Oh. Nope, this way. This way. Alright. So, little special stream. Why is it a little special? Because we're gonna get to know the subway system. Hello, DJ Nikki. Thank you so much for being patient. Had technical issues. So, it's gonna be a different stream. So, we're not gonna do COVID. I will still monitor COVID, but this is all gonna be railroad stuff. Alright. So, here we go. There. We're gonna talk about, if you're not an expert, which I don't. Dude, I'm suffering through packing for New York right now. Oh no! So, look at all this. So, this is because I can't bring all my stuff. Holy moly. Gotta sell more, I guess. So, yes. The reason why I decided, you know what? I think it's important that I give a little bit of the basic overview, because most people don't know about the New York City subway. And though I want to move on, I may end up moving slowly. Okay, that's fine. And it's acting a little weird here. Let me move this out. Okay, yes. Okay, so yeah, on my last stream, there was nothing on my chat. It was all empty, but finally it's working. But let me see if it works. Good, it works. Yes. Okay. So, now, no COVID, no monkeypox today. Next stream I will do it. Because there will be updates. We got some, but how do I do? It was crazy. The subway pissed me off again. Okay, you know how they piss me off every time there's a problem. Yeah, that's Charlie Brown. I guess almost everyone who's operating the trains are Charlie Brown's teacher, and I don't know her name. I'm sorry, but it's been a while since I've watched the Charlie Brown cartoons. Okay, but anyway, before we get to the rail report, I thought I'd introduce this kind of like my little partner, the New York City subway. Alright, so just letting you know that it is not the oldest subway, but it is one of the largest in the world, and this is the largest in the US. Alright, no other subway in the US goes this far. Okay, not even DC, Boston, Chicago, etc. Not even BART is like a hybrid. Anyway, so we're gonna dive into it. And by the way, it's way too zoomed out. I gotta zoom this in. Okay, so we're actually gonna start with the one train. I zoomed right here, one train. So here we go. So the one train is a local train, all right, and it runs between 242nd Street and South Ferry. So let's talk about it. So it's gonna go through here. One train. It's slow because it goes through all the stops here, all of it. Look, all the way down and up to the South Ferry. Next thing is the 2 train. So the 2 train is generally an express train, but it's an express train in Manhattan during the regular days, and I'll explain. But firstly, this 2 train goes from We're actually gonna go north from 241st Street in the Bronx, and it's gonna go local, and then once it gets to 96th Street, on the regular days, it's gonna go express in Manhattan, and it's gonna go follow here, and then it's gonna split at Chambers, and then it goes local afterwards. It goes all the way to Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn College. Alright, so... Whoops. Alright, so, as I said, goes between 241st Street and Flatbush Avenue. 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. It's express in Manhattan, as I've showed you. But from 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every single day, it'll make all local stops along the line I just told you about. The next thing is the number 3 train. So the number 3 train goes from, and we're actually not going to start here. The 3 train is here, but we're going to actually start from here. It goes from Harlem, 148th Street. It's going to go down here. It's also an express stop, a train, so it's going to make express stops between 96th Street to Chambers Street. Then it's going to split off, and then it's going to go all the way to New Lots Avenue. However, there's a little caveat that we're going to talk about. Alright, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m., it goes through the entire route, and it's express in Manhattan. However, 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., it only runs between 148th Street and 42nd Street, Times Square. And I will show you. Right here. Doesn't go any further than that during late nights, because MTA is cheap. But of course, you know, there's a little bit less ridership. And the 3 train is still express, but in this case, at the late nights, it's express between 96th and 42nd Streets. Alright, so that's the 1, 2, and 3 trains, and that's... Please do not call it the Red Line, but they are part of the Broadway 7th Avenue trunk. Alright, let's keep going. The next one is the 4 train. Okay, that's the Green Line, okay? And let's look at this 4 train. 4 train starts at Woodlawn. It makes all local stops in the Bronx. This 138th Street, I'm going to explain in a little bit. So, once it gets to 125th, it's going to go express between 125th and Brooklyn Bridge City Hall right over here. Then it goes local for a little bit, and then it goes to Brooklyn, and on a regular day, it will go express in Brooklyn between Nevins Street and Crown Heights Utica Avenue. I will explain in a little bit that this will go further down during late nights. Alright, so at all times, the 4 train skips Hoyt Street due to track reasons, whatever it is. Alright, so here it is. The 4 train, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. So it runs between Woodlawn in the Bronx and Utica Avenue in Crown Heights. It's express in Manhattan and Brooklyn. And from 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. it's express in Manhattan. Wait, what's going on here? That's a little boo-boo. 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. Okay, that was a boo-boo. So 4 train always skips Hoyt. So 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. every single day, including weekends. So it runs between Woodlawn and Utica Avenue, and is express in Manhattan and Brooklyn. However, now we're going to get to the rush hour. So Monday through Friday, so 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and also 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. So that's your evening rush. All right. We're going to go to the Bronx. I'm going to bring up the part with the 138th Street Grand Concourse that I hinted. So peak direction, 4 train skips it. So, mornings it skips southbound, and then in the evening rush, it skips 138th Street northbound. In order to get to that station, you're gonna have to take the 5 train. So the 5 train doesn't have to work. Oh, will always stop there, for the most part, which I'll explain in a bit, because that's the next line where we're gonna talk about. All right, so also rush hour trains. Some of them, all right. So you have to pay attention. Some rush hour trains on the 4 train will go to and from New Lots Avenue. There's only so much capacity that Utica Avenue can hold. The Utica Avenue station can hold. So just keep that in mind. All right. Also, 12 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. That's the nighttime. Every night, it will run local. It will make all the stops between Woodlawn, but it's actually going to also extend to New Lots Avenue via the 3 train, because as I told you earlier, at late nights, 3 train doesn't go south of 42nd Street. So since there's no 3 trains in Brooklyn during the late night hours, we get the 4 train to extend to the 3. Let's see what the next line is. Oh yes, that's right. The 5 train. So during the rush hours, so 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and that's the morning, 3:30 morning rush hours, 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's the evening rush hours. The 5 train runs is going to branch out. So this is what's going to happen. So it's going to come from either Nereid Avenue or Eastchester Dyer Avenue, and it's going to merge on East 180th Street. I will talk about this express in a bit. So it's going to go down the Bronx, go down Manhattan. It's an express train, so it's going to go express between 125th and Brooklyn Bridge, just like the 4 train. And then it's going to go local for a little bit. It's going to skip Hoyt, always, as well. All right, and between Nevins and Franklin, it's going to also go express. And then it also extends all the way to Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn College. Not all the time, but I'll explain why. It's because of service stuff, but the pattern's a little bit different, so I'll explain. Alright, so, as I said, it's express, so it runs between Nereid Avenue or Dyer Avenue, between either these two and Flatbush, and it's express in Manhattan and Brooklyn. Okay, my computer's acting so weird. Okay. Now, for the express in the Bronx, in that part of the Bronx, there are only 3 tracks. Okay, so as we get to the map, we're gonna go to the Bronx. So southbound is express during the morning. So the 5 trains will go express southbound in the morning, and then during the evening rush, it's going to go express in the northbound over here. And it goes pretty fast, if assuming there's no issues with the tracks or no delays and all that. All right. The next thing is we're going to do midday. And in the midday, Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., it only runs between Dyer Avenue and Flatbush Avenue. So it will only come from here. And then the other one, you just take the 2 train. Simple as that. Alright, now, and it's still express in Manhattan and Brooklyn in the middays. Also, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. and weekends, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. The 5 train is cut short for a bit, and it will only run between Dyer Avenue, and then it's going to be local in the Bronx, but it'll still be express in Manhattan, and then they'll stop at Bowling Green. And then the next thing is that from 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., it will only run in the Bronx as a shuttle between Dyer Avenue and East 180th Street. And I will show you right over here. Dyer Avenue and East 180th Street. During the late night hours, it's going to only run between these, in this section. That's it. That's it. Alright. So that's the 5 train. The next thing is the 6 train. So that's the one right next to it. Right over there, where you see Pelham Bay Park. So the 6 train runs between Pelham Bay Park, and I'll explain the express in a little bit. It's a similar service pattern as the 5 train, but I'll explain more of the details. So the regular 6 train makes all stops from Pelham Bay Park all the way to Brooklyn Bridge City Hall, right over here. It's all local. But there are exceptions. Everything has exceptions. Alright, so Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. So, as I said, 6 train runs between so regular 6 in this case, during that time, it runs between Parkchester and Brooklyn Bridge. Alright, so you'll see Brooklyn Bridge, so regular 6, and then it stops at Parkchester. But you'll be asking, okay, you just said 6 train runs between Pelham Bay Park and Brooklyn Bridge, but why now you say the 6 train runs between Brooklyn Bridge and Parkchester? That doesn't make sense. Well, during the rush hours and midday, we're gonna bring out the 6 express train, the one in the diamond shape. Let's bring it out. There it is. See the one that's a diamond over there? See this? Right over here. So, during the rush hour and midday hours, what you'll see here during the morning, the 6 train will be running between the express ones. The 6 train will go express in the morning southbound. All right. So it'll be coming from there. There's actually going to be more service coming through here than going there. Alright, either way, there's going to be both, it'll be serviced both ways. Okay, anyway, so southbound 6 goes express in the morning, southbound, and in the afternoon, goes express northbound. Alright, now, so, as I said, that's what I said. AM southbound, PM northbound. And on weekends, so it's Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. as well as all weekend. Now, all the 6 trains will go local, and there's no express service in the Bronx. I know, lots of stuff to memorize. But if you're like me, if you take the subway every single day, it just becomes second nature. So don't worry about it. Alright, especially if you're going to move there or if you're going to visit, try not to get caught up with it. The ones you should be worried about are the unexpected changes, the alerts and all that stuff. Those put a wrench to it. But again, I talk about the general subway, so when you learn about the rail reports that I provide, at least you know what the changes are, and if I don't mention anything, then the changes then it's going to go according to plan, which is what I'm telling you. Alright. Who's next? Which train is next? I think it's the number 7 train. Alright. 7 train. So, 7 train runs between 34th Street, Hudson Yards, and Main Street, Flushing. Let's find that 7 train. It's a little south. Here. 34th Street, Hudson Yards. That's a new station, and I'm starting to see mold in it. Okay. They were supposed to put a station here, somewhere here, but they didn't have enough money for that. I don't know why. But anyway, I don't know why they would not put that there. That would be a very nice area, and it would be an easier way to get to 42nd Street Port Authority bus terminal. But anyway, that's beside the point. All right, so this is the 7 train. This is what we call in New York City the International Express, because in Queens, under the 7 train, there's so many shops that have from different backgrounds. I know there's a lot of Asian countries. I know Woodside, that's where a lot of Filipinos are. All right, there's a lot of Hispanics there, a lot. All right, so 7 train goes from 34th Street Hudson Yards to Flushing Main Street. All right, and you'll see this service pattern here, just like the 6 train. Pretty similar. All right, so what we're gonna do is it's Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. So again, here we go. This is the rush hour pattern, 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's 7X. That's the diamond one. 7 Express train will run express in Queens, and it's gonna go in the peak direction. So in the morning, it's gonna go westbound. The 7 Express train will go westbound in the morning, and in the evening it's going to go eastbound. It's going to go express eastbound. And so very simple as that. All right, and then all the other times the 7 train's local. Now, in some cases there might be some 7 trains that go express past that, but it really depends. But this is what we have here. The next thing is the anxiety train. That's my train, the A train. Looks simple because it doesn't look like a lot of information. Well, it's a lot, okay? This is the longest subway line in the city. I think it's about 33 miles long. I don't know if it includes the Lefferts Boulevard branch, but I'm going to show you. This is the one that kills me. So switch to the maps again. And in this case, where is it? So the anxiety train runs either from Far Rockaway Mott Avenue or Ozone Park Lefferts Boulevard. So it'll go from these 2 places. It's going to merge at Rockaway Boulevard, and it goes express between Euclid Avenue and Hoyt-Schermerhorn Streets. Then it's going to make all stops here. Alright, goes to Manhattan. This is the World Trade Center here. And it's going to start going express again between Canal Street and 168th Street. We'll talk about the C train in a little bit. And it goes all the way to Inwood 207th Street. In rush hour anxiety trains, okay, in the morning time, some of those trains will be coming from Rockaway Park Beach 116th Street. But if it's the PM or the evening rush hour, some of them will go back to Rockaway Park Beach 116th Street. I know, lots of information, right? So, and also from 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every single night, all 8 trains will be local, and it'll run between 207th Street and Mott Avenue only. All right, and during that time period, late at night, there's going to be a special shuttle service over here, and this is going to be between Euclid and Lefferts Boulevard. Alright, and then the next one is the B train, and the B train does not run on late nights, and it does not run on weekends. So rush hours 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to run between Brighton Beach over here, it's going to go express in Brooklyn. And then it's going to go through Manhattan Bridge. It's going to also go express in Manhattan. But it's going to go local in between 59th Street and 140. Actually, it's going to go local all the way to Bedford Park Boulevard. And this is, again, only for the rush hours. Actually, I forgot to show the map here. Okay, so now, that's during the rush hours. Go run between Bedford Park Boulevard over there, and then it's going to go all the way to Brighton Beach. However, when it's not rush hours, when it's midday, so it's going to be 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Then it's going to go from Brighton Beach in Brooklyn and then all the way to 145th Street. So it'll get truncated during midday and evening hours. But it'll still be express in Midtown Manhattan and in Brooklyn. Alright, we're gonna go to the next one. This is the C train. This C train follows the anxiety train, but it's only running between 168th Street and Euclid Avenue, and it's local. It will make all stops. So the C train goes from here, Euclid over here, makes all the stops. All of it. All the way to 168th Street. I'm just letting you know that it does not run on late nights. That's where the anxiety train comes in. Okay, that's when it doesn't run on late nights, the anxiety train loses its express status and makes all the stops instead. Moving on. The D train. So the D train will always run between 205th Street and the Bronx and Stillwell Avenue in Brooklyn. Let's take a look at it. Right over here. D train at 205th Street. And then we're gonna talk about the express thing too. Not yet, but you already know the pattern here. It's similar to the 5, 6, and 7 trains. Okay, so D train runs between there, and then once it gets to 145th Street, it's express in Manhattan. So it's gonna go down here along Central Park West, make a curve. Over here, runs under 6th Avenue, and then goes into Manhattan Bridge, skips decal, goes down here. It's also express in Brooklyn until it gets to 36th Street, then it makes all the stops all the way to Coney Island. Just a few days ago, Coney Island, they had a Nathan's hot dog eating contest. So, anyway, it's a popular area. I really want to go back there. So, more about this D train. From Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's your rush hour again. It will be express in the Bronx. How will this go? I'll explain again. Actually, no, this will be my first time. But anyway, it's going to be consistent with all the other expresses that you see over here. So, if it's morning time, the D train's express southbound. If it's evening time, the evening rush hour, northbound D will be express in the Bronx. As such. And also, in midday, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on weekdays, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. on weekdays, and also for the entire weekend, 6:30 a.m. and also at night times, every night, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. So it will run the entire route between 205th Street and Stillwell Avenue, but it will only be express in Brooklyn. So it'll go local anyway. So actually, let me double check that. Actually, in nighttime, it's actually gonna go local. I think my notes got messed up. We're all human here. So what did I write? Okay, so according to the information here that I have, so the D train is express in Brooklyn, but anything can change. All right, so and then all others it's local. Next one is the E train. Where's the E train? I'm going back and forth and all that stuff. So it runs between World Trade Center and Jamaica Center. Let's get to the maps here. World Trade Center right over here. It's going to make local stops in Manhattan. And then, unlike the A&C trains, it's going to make a curve. Go under 53rd Street. Then, once it hits Queens Plaza, it's going to go express, as you can see here. And then it goes to Jamaica Center. So, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m., it's express in Queens. Some rush hour trips will go to and from Jamaica 179th Street. It may go express along this line. If it does go express, it may skip Sutphin Boulevard and 169th Street. Okay, I've seen this happen. But because of capacity constraints in the Jamaica Center station, some E-trains may go to or from 179th Street. Okay. So we'll see here on the E-train. And also on the late nights, 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., the entire line goes local, even in Queens. Alright, next one is the F train. F train runs between Jamaica 179th Street and Stillwell Avenue in Coney Island, and it's only express in Queens. Let's see where this goes. So 179th Street here, and then it's local in this section. Once it hits 71st Avenue, it's going to go express. This will not go into Queens Plaza, but instead we'll go to 21st Street Queensbridge. Please pay attention if you're in Roosevelt Avenue, okay? That's going to go through here, go down here, go down here, go through here, and then it's going to continue down here. It's also a very long line too, and then it goes to Coney Island. Alright, so 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and then 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. there's a special F train express that is not shown in the map, and it also behaves just like the D, the 5, the 6, and the 7 express trains. The rush hour behaviors. Alright? Some trains will be express between J Street and Church Avenue, and the mornings will go northbound. And I'm going to show you here in Brooklyn. So northbound, it'll go from Church Avenue, it'll skip Fort Hamilton and 15th. It'll stop at 7th. Then after that, it's gonna go express to J Street. And mornings, northbound goes express, and then On evenings, southbound goes express. To be honest with you, we should make the F train express all times, except of course during late nights. This area between Church Avenue and J Street is 4 tracks, so they're not making the most out of it. All right. The next train is the G train. Nothing too special. Very easy. It's one of the very few trains that doesn't go to Manhattan. Okay. So, G train goes from Church Avenue over here to Court Square. Very simple. But I just want to tell you one historical note. I believe it was in 2010. That's the last time the G train has done this. It would extend to Forest Hill 71st Avenue. But because of because there's only so much train the railroad can handle in terms of the amount of trains, so G train had to be cut. At the time, it was the V train, V's in Victor, that took over the G train. That's why you see that transfer over here. But due to budget cuts and whatnot, they got rid of the V train, and instead of the M going here, the M train used to go here. The M train would take over. I will talk about the M train in a little bit, but I just wanted to give some historical thing. If in case there are people out there who say, "Hey, I thought the G train goes all the way to 71st." Well, it has done that before, but it no longer does it, at least for the foreseeable future. Okay, let's get to the next one. The next one is the Jay-Z train. No, it's not named after the rapper. Actually, the rapper is named Jay-Z. Is actually named after the Jay-Z trains that ran by his neighborhood. Okay, reason it's 2 trains, but I tend to group them together. Okay, by the way, in my opinion, the Z train should not be there, and I'll explain in a little bit. Because Z train only runs Monday through Friday on rush hours, and both trains, both the J and the Z trains, they run between Broad Street and Jamaica Center. Let's show it on the map. So here, Broad Street, it's local in Manhattan, crosses Williamsburg Bridge. Once it hits Marcy Avenue, it's going to go express. But it's only for peak, because this area only has 3 tracks. So if it's morning rush hour, it will go express between Myrtle and Marcy westbound. If it's evening rush, it's going to go express between Marcy and Myrtle, at least for the J and Z trains. And local service will be taken up by the M train. And this one, we're going to introduce something that does not make sense to me. It's called skip stop. And skip stop is only during rush hours. The thought of doing skip stop is it would speed up travel time. In my opinion, it does not. Simply because the J and Z trains will be sharing the tracks, and I'll be honest with you, it's going to cause some congestion. Alright, that's what happened with the 1 and 9 trains. There used to be a 9 train that goes along with the 1 train, and there would be skip stop service north of 96th Street. But because of service issues caused by the skip stop, they got rid of the 9 train. But for some reason, I don't know why, they kept the Z train. So bear with me with the skip stop. So on the rush hour, it's gonna go like this. With the J, all J trains will stop at this stop. Now, on rush hours, J train will skip Gates Avenue. And then, after that, it goes to J. It goes to Halsey Street. Then after that, it goes to Broadway Junction. That's where both J and Z trains will stop. As well as at Alabama Avenue. And then after that, the next stop, the J skips this stop, it's Van Sicklin. And then after that, it goes into Cleveland. and then it skips Norwood, and then it goes, and then all trains stop at Crescent, and then the next one J stops at this, and the next one it skips 75th. So it's like almost alternating, and then the next one J train will stop at 85th, and then the next one Woodhaven Boulevard, both trains stop, and the next one the J skips to 104th, and then it stops to 111th, and then it skips 121st, and then it goes to Sutphin and Parsons. So all trains will stop there. These are two very busy stations. Of course, Sutphin Boulevard, LIRR, Air Train, and then Jamaica Center. A lot of buses stop there. I know, because I go there so many times. Alright, let's go to the Z train. This is why it pisses me off. We should get rid of this one. Just make the J train run through all the stops. Okay, so J and Z trains both stop at both of these stations here, but on rush hour, I only took a Z train once. That's it, but it's only for a short section. But anyway, that's beside the point. Z train runs stops at both stops here, and then after that it stops at 121st. It skips 111th, goes to 104th. Then it runs at Woodhaven. It stops at Woodhaven, skips 85th, goes to 875th Street. After that, goes to Crescent. Then it goes to Norwood Avenue, and then it skips Cleveland, goes to Van Sicklen. See how confusing this is? Then it makes these stops at Alabama and Broadway Junction. After that, stops at Chauncey, then skips Halsey, goes to Gates, and then skips Kosciuszko, or my coworker says Kosciuszko. That's wrong. It's Kosciuszko, and then it goes to Myrtle Avenue. Oh my goodness, Lord. Oh boy, I'm tired already. See how confusing that is? Just make the J train run as such, like easy. There is an advisor I will talk about that actually got rid of the Z train, but not at the moment. All right, that's for the rail report. That's for the next segment. Okay, and this one will be through September 2022. What's the next train? The next train is the L train. It's very easy. Nothing to memorize. It's just like the G train. Why is that? Because it's a line by itself. L train runs between Canarsie Rockaway Parkway, makes all stops, of course, and it gets super crowded in this area, in Williamsburg and the East Side. Okay, and it runs and makes all stops from Rockaway Parkway all the way to 8th Avenue. That's it. Very easy. That's for the L train. M train, on the other hand, which I talk about quite a bit. So, from 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, it runs like a little loop. Runs between Metropolitan Avenue, goes down here, makes all stops here. It's local, makes all stops. Then it goes from the Williamsburg Bridge. Then it's gonna follow the F train, go up here. It's gonna, instead of going up here, it's gonna make a right, and it's gonna go down over here and make all local stops here on the Queens Boulevard line, and it stops at 71st Avenue. It's not always gonna be that case. You'll see here. Oh, you know what? So 71st Avenue, so it's gonna run. I keep forgetting to switch. So it runs between 71st Avenue, goes down here, and it goes all the way to Mill Village Metropolitan Avenue. However, as you can see here, from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Monday through Friday, and on weekends 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. It's only going to run between Metropolitan Avenue up there and Essex Street. That's it. And then you have to take the F train and then transfer to the R train on these other times. Next thing for the M train is that on 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every night. So for the late nights, it runs as a shuttle. And it runs between Middle Village Metropolitan Avenue and Myrtle Avenue Broadway. It's Myrtle Avenue Broadway. Why? Because there are two kinds of Myrtle Avenue stations here. Don't get confused. This is Myrtle Avenue Broadway, and this is Myrtle Wyckoff. So don't get confused, please. Okay. Who's next on the trains? NQ and R. They're brothers and sisters. Okay, they're on the yellow line. Okay, so N train will always run between Ditmars Boulevard over here. Alright, in Manhattan, I will explain. Sometime the weekdays it tends to go express. Late nights and weekends it goes local. And then it's going to go through the Manhattan Bridge all the time, except late nights, which it will go in this line, which I will talk about. It will follow the R train. And it's going to skip DeKalb, and it's going to go express here, except late nights. Late nights it goes local. And then it goes through here, all the way to Coney Island. Another long line. Okay, so. Again, we're gonna go through here. So N train here, see this, go up here. It's another long line. Alright, so Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. So it's express in Manhattan, so it's between 57th Street, 7th Avenue, and Canal Street. And it's also express in Brooklyn, as I've stated. So it's along 4th Avenue. Weekends, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. It's express in Brooklyn only. That's it. And then 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every night. It's local. It'll make all stops. And on that section, which I just talked about a few minutes ago, over here, it's gonna go via the R train in both directions between Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center, stop at DeKalb, and then go through the R until Canal Street. So you'd have to take the Q train to get there a little faster. The only issue is that trains tend to go pretty slow on the Manhattan Bridge. Alright. The Q train runs between 96th Street and Stillwell Avenue. So, Q train between 96th Street and Stillwell Avenue. This is pretty easy. The northern end. So this part opened in 2017. That's the 2nd Avenue subway. What I don't understand is, I don't know why for the first phase they should make this go all the way to 125th and then connect all the lines over here. That would be awesome. But that's not the case. So for now, 96th Street, and then goes down here from 57th Street to Canal. It'll go express, except late nights. And then it'll always go on the Manhattan Bridge and then stop at DeKalb Avenue. And then when it goes to Brooklyn, it's local to Coney Island. Okay, so for the Q train, 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. is express in Manhattan. Okay, and from 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every night, it's local. Makes all the stops. Next one is the R train. This is also a very long line, and on a regular day it runs between 71st Avenue in Forest Hills to 95th Street Bay Ridge. Let me show you. So, R train, 71st Avenue, makes all the stops here, goes through all this. Oops, wait, doesn't go to the bridge, but it goes down the tunnel over here in the financial district. That's what it means, Five Eyes Financial District. So it's going to go through the what we call the Montague Street Tunnel. And then it's going to go local over here, keep going, and then ends at Bay Ridge 95th Street. Alright, now, however, here's one little caveat. 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., the R train gets truncated, and it only runs between 95th Street down there, all the way to Whitehall Street South Ferry. That's it. That's for late nights only. What's the next train? Yeah, I know there is another train. We not finished yet. The shuttle train. Alright, before we get to the W. So, we have to do this alphabetical order and numerical order. Okay, so there are 3 shuttle trains. And they're very easy. Okay, the first one is the 42nd Street Shuttle. This one runs between Times Square and Grand Central. Let's bring up that map. Right over here. There it is. And this is one of the shortest lines. It only has 2 stations. But it's very busy too. A lot of people take that. And so this one, it runs all the time, except 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. And the shuttle train doesn't run, but you can use the 7 train. So they parallel. I know, kind of weird, right? But you know what? That's extra capacity right there. Okay, now the second one is the Franklin Avenue Shuttle. And this one is even easier. Right here, Franklin Avenue Shuttle between Franklin Avenue Station and Fulton Street on the C train to Prospect Park on the B&Q on the B&Q to connect with the B&Q trains. So very simple. The third shuttle is here, and this one runs between Broad Channel and Rockaway Park Beach 116th Street. On weekends during the summertime between Memorial Day and Labor Day, so it's weekends and Monday holidays, this train gets extended from Beach 160th Street and Broad Channel, then it goes all the way to Rockaway Boulevard. What I find an issue here is that once this train gets extended, it cuts service of the Anxiety train that would go to Mott Avenue. I just don't understand why. There should be more service here. You should, just because you extend the S train, the shuttle train, the Rockaway Park shuttle, doesn't mean you take out Mott Avenue A trains. Please don't. Please don't do that. Come on. Alright, next one. Now we get to the W train. This one is just like the B train. Alright, and this one only runs on rush hours, middays, and evenings. It does not run on late nights, and it does not run on weekends. And from 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m., so that's Monday through Friday, it runs between Ditmars Boulevard and Whitehall Street, South Ferry. Let's get to it. Alright. If I can get to... Oh, here it is, the W train. So runs over here. So it follows the N train. Then after that, after Canal, it's going to follow the R. It stops at Whitehall. If you remember, a long time ago, the W used to go to Coney Island via the D train. If you remember that, when they were fixing the Manhattan Bridge. So I remember. Actually, wait. You know what? Some of the W trains will go there, but also back then there was only the Q local, the Q Express, and I think there was a W that goes there as well. on the Manhattan Bridge before, long time ago. I've heard some people telling me that the W trains can start somewhere in this area. But just to avoid confusion, W generally runs between Whitehall Street, South Ferry, and Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria. Just for so you don't get confused. But this is the New York City subway. Anything can happen. Okay, diversions can happen. All right, within the 26 different lines. All right, finally. This one, MTA considered that separate from the New York City subway. To me, it's part of the New York City subway because it uses rolling stock from the New York City subway, in this case the R46. And this one, it runs, and this one's very easy, runs between St. George Terminal, that's the ferry terminal, and Tottenville. Here's the map. We're actually going to go down this little square, this little section over here. So, pretty long line over here. Alright, so between St. George and it goes to Tottenville. Alright, something to know about. Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Some northbound trains will go express between New Dorp and St. George. I believe this is non-stop. See, New Dorp and St. George. So it'll skip all these stops here. And also, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Some southbound trains are expressed between St. George and Great Hills. So as from here, we go to the maps here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So some of the trains will go express between St. George until Great Hills, and then they'll go local. And finally, we went over the summary and the service patterns of the New York City subway. So that's on a regular day when there are no issues. That's the schedule. All right, and now you know when I do the rail reports twice a week, you know, now you have it in the background in your head. If you forget any of it, you can always come back. That's why I post it on YouTube. And with that, I'll be right back for that rail report. I need to rest my voice, okay? I'll see you in a little bit. Don't worry. Not going away. All right? You can grab something to eat, get something to drink. I'll be right back. right, so I made a little boo boo because just wanted to I just wanted to be I actually made a boo boo on at least with the audio part, but the D train was actually correct. All right, so the D train runs between 205th Street and Stillwell always, and it's always express in Manhattan always. All right, so I just wanted to fix that for myself. So Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's your rush hour. So express in the Bronx. So as I've said, let me zoom in. So for the Bronx, so if it's morning rush hours, it'll go express southbound, and if it's evening rush hours, it's gonna go express northbound. Okay. And it's gonna be express in Brooklyn during rush hours. Alright, so in addition to being express in Manhattan, which it'll be express in Manhattan all the time. Also Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. and also weekends from 6:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. It's also going to be expressed in Brooklyn. So you'll be saying, 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every night. Where did you put it? Well, it's going to be between 205th Street and Stillwell Avenue always, but it'll be expressed in Manhattan. That's not going to change. Okay? So all the other ones, the second and third bullet points for the D train is just in addition to the first bullet point. So again, it will the first bullet point will be always, unless otherwise stated, to run between 205th Street, Norwood, in the Bronx, and Stillwell Avenue, Coney Island, and at all times it'll be expressed in Manhattan. So I just wanted to make that slight correction. So I was actually right. So now we will get to, yes, that's right, the rail report, which I will post on Instagram on Saturday morning, okay? So this is for July 9th to the 10th, 2022, all right? Let's start with the ongoing. If I can find it here. Okay, so with the ongoing, so as I said earlier, there is no Z train through from now through September 2022, and so just as a reminder, if I can find it, here we go. Yes, there we go. This is the reminder here. All right, so there will be no Z trains through September 2022 because of the Archer Avenue track reconstruction project. So they're gonna do track work and replace the concrete because they're so freaking old. I think they're all older than me. I think this was opened, in the 80s. So they have to replace all that. And I'm gonna show you the map of it right over here. Boom. Okay, so here, so no trains here, no J or Z trains here, no Z trains here, and then no J between 121st and Jamaica Center. You're gonna take a J99 bus or Q56, go to Jamaica Van Wyck, then take the E train there, or you can continue taking the Q56, continue that, and it stops at the same stops as these two, but it's going to be on Jamaica Avenue. Right over here, but it's actually one block, about a block away, north of Archer Avenue. I know because I've been there. Okay, so that's going to be going on. The next thing that is ongoing is also going to be with the J train. And westbound J train will be expressed between Broadway Junction and Myrtle Avenue, Broadway. So that's from 3:45 a.m. to 10 in Saturday to Sunday, 10 p.m. Next thing is we're going to get to the anxiety train, and from 6 a.m. on Saturday through Sunday, 10 p.m., eastbound anxiety trains skip 104th and 111th streets. In addition to that, we have the S train that takes the anxiety trains away. That's a bad thing, because I need the anxiety trains, because that's less transfers. Okay, so weekends and Monday holidays, as I stated earlier, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And it's gonna go from, the S train will go from Beach 116th Street all the way to Rockaway Boulevard. And the next thing is we're gonna go to the PATH trains. So at nighttime, 9th Street and 23rd Street still closed, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Okay, that's your ongoing. And we got a lot. So let's get through it. So let's go to the 4, 5, and 6 trains. So southbound 4, 5, and 6 is express between Grand Central 42nd Street and Brooklyn Bridge City Hall. It's going to make a stop at 14th Street. Everyone knows that. Next thing is the anxiety train, and the anxiety train has a lot. Holy moly. Southbound anxiety train stops at 163rd and 155th Streets. However, the northbound anxiety trains runs between 125th and 168th Street. It'll stop at 145th Street. Next thing, southbound anxiety train and also the C train will be express between 145th Street and Canal Street. Also, eastbound anxiety train and C train is express between Broadway Junction and Euclid Avenue. Also, there's no C train north of 145th Street. No C train north of 145th Street. Alright, let's get confusing. Here we go. See that D train over here? It's gonna go local. It's gonna go on the C train between 145th Street, and then still follows the C over here until West 4th Street, and then between West 4th Street and Coney Island Stillwell Avenue, the D and the F trains are gonna switch tracks. So for example, the D train will go over here to York Street, J Street, etc. The D train will go over in this area. And then the F train, it's going to go to Grand Street and go over the Manhattan Bridge, and then go along 4th Avenue, then go along New Utrecht Avenue, or the West End line. Oof, yikes. And I don't know how long they're going to do this. They've done this before, and it's confusing. In addition, nighttime, northbound D train stops rather. Northbound D train stops at 135th Street at nights. Next thing is northbound D train is on the F between West 4th Street and 34th Street. So it will stop at 14th and 23rd Street. Just the northbound D trains. Next thing is we're going to go to the Culver line. Alright, just know that the D train, as in David, will go on the Culver line. And northbound D and G trains will be expressed between Church Avenue and Smith 9th Streets, but it'll make a stop at 7th Avenue. The next thing, make things even more confusing a little bit. The F, N, and R trains will be expressed between Atlantic Avenue and 36th Street. Wow, okay. Oh, I'm not done yet. The 2 train is in a world of hurt. I'll explain. There is no 2 train between 3rd Avenue, 149th Street, and 135th Street. So there are 3 different shuttle buses, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But because of that, the 2 train runs in 2 sections. The first one runs between Harlem 148th Street. The 2 train will stop there now. It will skip 145th Street because 145th Street is too short. Okay, that's where the shuttle buses come in, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So, but the 2 train will run between 148th Street, go down here, go down its regular route, go be express here, and then keep going to Flatbush. Then the other section runs from 3rd Avenue, 149th Street to Wakefield, 241st Street. Okay. The next thing is, the shuttle buses. There are 3 of them. First one goes from 149th Street, Grand Concourse, and 135th Street, but it'll stop at 145th. Okay. Next one is nonstop. It runs between 3rd Avenue, 149th Street to 149th Street, Grand Concourse. That doesn't make sense to me. You should have the 3rd Avenue. You should have a bus run from between 3rd Avenue, 149th Street, and 135th Street, and make stops at both 145th Street and 149th Street, Grand Concourse. I don't understand why they didn't do that, but they have to put 2 separate buses. One bus that stops at 145th Street over here, like this, then another one right over there. You could just walk between 149 Grand Concourse and 3rd Avenue, 149th Street. I've done that before. The other thing that's nonstop is 3rd Avenue, 149th Street, and 135th Street. Oh, Jesus. I can't believe. Okay, so they're crazy. I don't know what the MTA is trying to do. I think they just want to screw me over. Okay, next thing, S train will be running all weekend. So I told you that earlier that it's not in service from 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Well, sorry about that. Due to the 2 train debacle, what they're gonna do is they're gonna have the S train run 24/7 for the weekend. Oh, I'm not done yet. There's more. The 3 train. There will not be any 3 trains. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, if you want to get to 148th Street, you take the 2 train. 145th Street, you take a shuttle bus, or you can take the M7 or M102 buses. And also, because there are no 3 trains, the 4 trains run between Woodlawn and New Lots at all times, but east of Nevin Street, the 4 train will go local in Brooklyn. It'll make all stops east of Nevin Street. Alright, let's add more trouble. The 5 train gets split into 2 parts. Shoot. So there will be no 5 trains between East 180th Street and 3rd Avenue. And 149th Street, Grand Concourse. So no 5 trains between East 180th Street and 149th Street, Grand Concourse. It'll be in 2 sections. First one, this one will run all the time between Dyer Avenue and East 180th Street as a shuttle. The other one, this one is for the days and evenings, but it's not going to be late nights. And this will run between Bowling Green over here. The reason why I had to go all the way is because instead of going here for 149th Street Grand Concourse, it will go in the 4 line. And then also to help out with all this, there's going to be some cross honoring. Alright, so there will be 2 kinds of cross honoring. The first cross honoring will be on the Metro North commuter rail. So you just show your Metro card. And you can cross honor at 125th Street station here. You can cross honor at Grand Central. Just show your Metro card. It's free, basically. And then you can show your Metro card at Wakefield, Woodlawn, and Williamsbridge. So these three, and for these two. However, it doesn't work when you go to Melrose, Tremont, Fordham, and Botanical Garden. So this is exclusively only for the Harlem line. Alright? The other one, which I almost forgot, but I actually did that in previous streams, is that the Locust Manor, Hollis, Jamaica, East New York, Nostrand Avenue, and Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn. So for those stations, it can be cross-honored, and I will show you. It's right over here. So Rosedale, Laurelton, Locust Manor, St. Albans, Jamaica, Hollis, Queens Village, East New York, Nostrand Avenue. It's off the map, but Nostrand Avenue is included, and also Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn. So you got some good coverage right there. You can just show your MetroCard as long as it's not expired. You get there for free. Boom, done. Just like that. Super easy. Let's get back to the maps. Okay, next thing, we're gonna go to the E, F, and R trains in Queens. Okay, under the Queens Boulevard. So all these trains will be local in Queens. E, F, and R trains. By the way, no M trains in under the Queens Boulevard line. Next thing, N train. There is no N train between Kings Highway and Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue. You need to take a bus. If you want to go straight to Coney Island, transfer here at New Utrecht, 36th Street, or if the N train goes local in Brooklyn, it's on the F. Or you can just transfer to the R. Many different ways. So the next thing, excuse me, is the Long Island Railroad. Oh, Lord. Alright. Remember a few streams ago, you had to do all these diversions? Well, I'm going to be part of it because Sunday I have a seminar to go to. Oh, boy. So, this is how it goes. See this Oyster Bay branch? This Oyster Bay branch train will only run between Oyster Bay and East Williston. That's it. This section, taken out. The bus will run between East Williston and Hempstead. But it'll stop at Mineola. I apologize. Okay. Now, that's just the beginning. The next thing is, there is no Long Island Railroad trains between Floral Park and Hicksville. So now you're going to have different sections because of the third track expansion, which is part of the bigger project for East Side Access. So what you're going to see here, one section is the train going from Penn Station, going through here, and ending at Babylon. The second section is train going from Babylon to Hicksville, and it'll stop at Bethpage. The next one is there's a train that'll go from Hicksville all the way to either Huntington or Port Jefferson. Then there's another section that'll go from Greenport over here to Ronkonkoma. And then there's another section that goes from Ronkonkoma to Hicksville. And it skips Bethpage. And then also there's actually more service now, okay, for that time being, because of this section being closed. You'll also have trains going from between Hempstead to either Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn, or Penn Station, or Jamaica. Okay, so for these buses, the nice buses, N22 and N24, they can be cross-honored, and it'll run between Mineola over here and Hicksville. But 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. you may need to use a shuttle bus. Also, N40 or N41 bus that runs between Mineola and Hempstead. You can cross-honor that as well. And I also talk about the bus that goes between East Williston and Hempstead, and it stops at Mineola. The next one is New Jersey Transit. We're actually gonna zoom into the Hudson Bergen light rail. It's very small, so I'm gonna zoom in even more, because there is a section that's shut down, and they're gonna do something called bus bridging, which you see a lot in the New York City subway. So there is no Hudson Bergen light rail between Jersey Avenue, right over here, and either Garfield Avenue and Danforth. So it's between Danforth and Jersey Avenue's closed, and also between Garfield Avenue and Jersey Avenue. So there's going to be bus bridging. Buses will run between Jersey Avenue and Garfield Avenue, and between Jersey Avenue and Danforth Avenue. And also, finally, get back to the subway. This is only for Sunday, and this is a little weird, but this is from 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So we're actually going to go to the C train. Northbound C train is express between 125th and 145th. It will skip 100. Northbound C trains will skip 135th Street. I don't know why they do that, but that's that's one of those exceptions over here. So now, well, it wasn't perfect, but at least thank you so much for enjoying and stopping by this crazy railroad stream. Wow, that is crazy. It took me just 1 hour to go through all of New York City's subway lines, and that's just a summary. Talked about the terminals, or the termini in this case. Nicky taking notes as he's coming home to New York. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Nicky was in California, and then after that, I think went to Philippines, and then went back to California. I don't know if I got this right, but in 2018 he was in New York, and then he left, I think, 2021, and then now he's coming back this year. So I hope you're taking notes, Shelby. I know that's a lot of it, but that's okay, it'll be on VODs. Alright, so very happy to see all of you. Okay, so now we're gonna raid. Next stream, I'm gonna talk about more COVID stuff. I will also, don't forget to follow my Instagram, because I post COVID and monkeypox stuff, and pharmacy stuff, and all that stuff, all those good things. All right, let's see who can I raid. Let's see. Oh my goodness, not a lot. Actually, I don't. Oh, wow. So, but I know someone named Slowpoke Felitos. I know him through Catnesis, one of my mods. Let's bring the raid there. Slowpoke Felitos. All right. So, hope you all have a good day. All right. Hope you enjoyed my mini special stream on the subway. In addition, also the rail report. Now you know, every time I do the rail report, you know the background of how it is on a normal day. All right. So I can just go straight to the changes and advisories. So anyway, now, in the words of my mod, DJ Nicky Zem, I hope you all stay healthy and safe as always, especially since the cases for COVID and monkeypox are going up. So it's more important than ever to stay healthy and safe, and to take care of one another, and to care for one another. Y en las palabras de Doctora Ana María Polo, he dicho, Boom! Transmisión cerrada. Have a good night. I will see you Monday night, God willing.